Hi, this is Barry the Boss here. Today I got a special guest called Russell Cannon, and um, just he's going to run through the baby steps of how to retire in the Dominican Republic. He's been living there from July 2018, and he's a great guy. So Russell, just t- run through me why you retired in the Dominican Republic.
What's up, Barry?
What's up, man? I'm good, man. You good? You good?
You know what, Barry? I just recently retired last year of July
Oh, you retired last year, July.
2018. And
Oh, what was you
yeah,
doing before that?
yeah, I'm a auto worker. I was an auto worker, assembler at General Motors for 40 years, building
Oh,
cars.
well, building cars, yeah?
Yeah.
40 years you did that for?
Retired when I was 59, Barry. 40 years. Yep.
59.
Yep.
So you did 40 years in the service?
40 years in General Motors, not the service.
Oh,
Was
in,
never
in, in
military.
General Motors.
Yeah.
That's good, man. General Motors, that's good. That's good.
The blessing, man, to get a job out of high school and was able to stay with the same company for 40 years and just able to retire. That's a blessing.
Yeah, that's a blessing. Oh.
Yeah.
So when you retired, was it always on your mind to go to the Dominican Republic,
Well,
or
you
was you
let me
going to go somewhere?
let me tell you, everybody got their own story.
Right, that's correct.
My story is that I was recently divorced, you
Okay,
know, and I had a friend of mine at work that traveled, but he just traveled throughout the Caribbean. So,
right. Okay,
um, I didn't travel until 2003. So we had got a performance bonus at work, and he asked me, "Hey, if you ever want to travel anywhere, where would you want to go?" So I said, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. That was my first travel,
right.
you know. And I don't know, but I'm glad to be a host on this show.
Okay,
And
yeah, yeah. Appreciate you coming.
yeah, when you travel, once you travel out of the country, I enjoy the environment, the culture. But another thing that's very important to me is meeting other people that travel.
That's
You know,
correct. Yes,
and
that's correct. Yes.
other people that travel, and you keep in touch with them. It's almost like being in a sorority. You know,
Right, right. That's correct. Yes.
and it branches off from there. You know,
Right.
and that's where my other travels came from. Thailand. And,
Did you go to Thailand? What made you go to Thailand?
well, Barry, I bet you in Thailand.
Oh yeah, you did. Yeah, you did meet
Yeah,
me in
yeah.
Thailand. I know. Yeah, yeah, we did meet each other and we had a drink. And, what? How did you know about me from Thailand?
Well, you know what, Barry? What I did was, um, I met a guy in Brazil. He was a military man, and
Okay.
he traveled a lot. And he was telling me, man, you got to go to Thailand. You got to go to Thailand. And so at that time, I fell in love with Brazil. So I was going to Brazil for 6 years, and then I decided, man, I'm going to go to Thailand.
Okay.
And I met another friend of mine that lived in Thailand named Dougie, another guy named Zeus.
Okay.
And so when I went to Thailand for the first time, I went by myself and I ran into them, and what I did was I just started, talking to them. And one of them, I think it was Zeus, told me about you. And I said, man, I got to go there one time and run into Barry.
Right.
And
Right.
I ran into you, man. At that time, you were,
What did Zeus say to you about you? What did Zeus say about me? I should say.
he kind of gave me a rundown on, what he just basically said was he gave me a rundown on some of the guys that he knew that was in Thailand for an extended stay,
Right.
you know.
Okay.
And I think at the time one of the longest running guys that was there was you and Dougie,
Right.
you know.
Okay. That's correct. Yes.
Time and once I looked on his Facebook and I seen you, of course I friended you on Facebook and
Okay.
we met. I think at that time you were helping out with it was Brooklyn,
I was
the
doing
nightclub.
nightclub promotion for Brooklyn. Yeah, doing a nightclub promotion for Brooklyn.
Right, and that's where we met, man. I kind of followed you. I remember we walked up and down Walking Street and kind of gave me a rundown on how things was there and what do you do there, and hey, we became friends ever since then, man.
Oh, it was nice. It was good. It was good. So,
Yeah.
so when you left there, how comes you didn't retire in Thailand?
You know what, Barry? To be honest with you, I love Thailand, man, but the distance would kill me. You know what I mean? The distance. 26-hour flight. And I went there and I had a good time, but of course I got children and family back home, and I was thinking, man, if something would ever to happen, you know, it would be a 26-hour flight to get back home and $1,000 plane ticket.
That's right. That's right. That's correct. You're correct. That's correct. Yes, it's a long way, isn't it?
But Thailand is the best place I've ever been to because it's not only just the nightlife and the partying, it's other things to do in Thailand.
That's correct.
You know?
Yes, yes. It's a big thing. Yeah. So when you left back to Thailand, was you retired? When you was you retired after you met me, or you wasn't retired? You were still working?
No. First time I was in Thailand is 2013. Then I went back every 2015, 2017.
Right.
I went 2 times, and you know, I didn't retire in 2018, but the first time I went to Thailand in 2013, that same year, I went to Dominican Republic.
Oh, so when you went to Dominican Republic, what? Tell me the proceed. What happened? What made you fall in love with the place of Dominican Republic?
You know what, Barry? This might sound weird, but you know what made me fall in Dominican Republic at first?
Yes,
was the distance of the flight. You know, it's not far from the United States.
Right.
You know, it's for you that know geography. You know, 90 miles from the United States is Cuba. 90 miles on the other side of Cuba is Dominican Republic. 90 miles on the other side of Dominican Republic is Puerto Rico.
Right.
Yeah. So
how long does it take you to get from Dominican Republic to?
Yeah, you know, it all depends on your time of your layover.
Okay.
But usually, where I'm leaving from Pittsburgh, you usually have a layover either in Atlanta or Miami.
Right.
And you know, it's an hour and 40-minute flight from Pittsburgh to Atlanta, and then whatever. I don't know how long your layover might be. It might be a couple hours. It might be an hour. But then from Atlanta to Dominican Republic, it's like a 2-hour and 30-minute flight. So total, you're looking at about 4.5, 5 hours.
Oh, 4.5, 5 hours. Right. So it was much closer to you than to going all the way to Thailand. So when you got over there, then what happened? What made you actually just fall in love with the whole place?
You know what, Barry? Travel. It's kind of like a blessing. Some people, they scared and they worry about it. And to me, it's like a blessing. When I travel, I'm totally okay exploring and moving around by myself.
Right.
You know, yes. Because if you just have any common sense, you're not going to do nothing stupid. If somebody walk up to you and say, "Hey, let me show you something in this alleyway," of course you're not going to go in there.
No, you're not.
Exploring. You know, as soon as I got there, I checked in the hotel, and I don't know. This is for people out there that may not travel. It's just a little something that I learned on myself. If you're checking into a hotel and you're going somewhere for the first time, what I suggest, if you want to explore, is to get. First thing you do when you leave that hotel, get the card.
Yeah, card. Business. Your business for the hotel. Right. So you know where to go when you come back. That's correct.
Right. So you just give it to the taxi driver. He'll take you right back to the hotel.
Right. Is that what? So that's what you did.
That's what I did, man. I just happened to land in a nice place. It was Dominican. I suggest people go there if they go to Dominican Republic for the first time. It's in the capital, which is Santo Domingo. And I landed in a Zona Colonial area. And it's an old colonial area, basically where Columbus first landed at. And they just got a lot of history down there. You know, they got the oldest church built in North and South America. I think it was in 1460, 90 something. They got a square down there with statues and pigeons, and they got a big street called the Conde. That it's like maybe a mile long that you can just walk on, do a lot of souvenir shopping, restaurants, stuff going on there. That's where I landed. Yeah, first time I went.
So what made you? What happened after that? What was the process after that for you living down there?
You know what, Barry? Then I basically the first couple of years it was just every time I went it was in Santo Domingo, the capital.
Santo Domingo, right?
Then it's like anything else, man. That's why I got to tell people, man. If you want to start traveling or you like to travel, don't concentrate on when you hear bad about the country. Go there yourself and see it. So I did, went there and met people, man, and I met other Americans was there, and this one guy said, "Hey man, you got to go to Sosua, man. It's on the northern part of the island, at the top of the island, the northern part of the island, and where I currently live at is called Puerto Plata. It's about a half an hour drive from Sosua.
Right.
But it was just all experimental, man, and just getting out there and meeting people and
Meeting
learning
people,
about
the culture.
yeah. Yep.
Right. So when you went to Sosua, what happened after that? What was the process after that?
Well, you know what? I went up to Sosua with a friend of mine,
Right.
and you learn as you go. So, I learned in the Dominican Republic that they got two major bus lines. Their transportation is different than in America or any other where their major transportation they have motor conchos, which is like a motorbike. That's
Right.
the main one. You just jump on the back of the motorbike wherever you're going. It's not much, $1, $2. Then they got the public transportation, which is like a mini bus. Suggest don't take that because it's going to stop at every corner. He's going to
Right.
take it to where and then they have a major bus line. Which is they got two of them. One is the Caribbean Tour, the other one is Metro, and they're like Greyhound, big buses, tour buses. I mean, they're not a tour bus, but they're big buses that travel the length of the country. Wherever you want to go, they stop, and it's real cheap. So to get the whole south part of the country, you're going to spend maybe $8. It's a 4-5 hour ride.
Right.
Yeah.
So then you moved. You went to Sunsua. You had a great time. So why you didn't live in Sunsua?
You know what? If you like a kind of person who like the nightlife,
Right.
and like to party and have a good time, drink, party, have a good time, this Sosua is where you want to go.
Right. That's correct.
If you're a single guy looking for women, Sosua is the place you want to go. Sosua got a beautiful beach. It's like a little Laguna beach. It's a beautiful beach. The nightlife is all night. But the only thing about Sosua is it's sort of like a tourist trap, not in a bad way,
Okay.
but it's a whole lot of tourists there, and because of that reason, the vendors, the women, everybody flock there. So if you can deal with that, I mean, it's a nice city to live in. But for me, I'm not the kind of person where I would be too tempted to party every night.
That's correct. Yeah. Just to stop you once. Yeah. MLB says, how about the act of God, the weather conditions? What's the weather conditions like?
The weather in the Dominican Republic is weird. I mean, they have a season where it's called hurricane season, and I guess it's usually like September, from October, September, December, around that time. I think going on 7 years, it was only one time I really got kind of caught in it wasn't even like a hurricane. It was tornado, high winds, the water's coming in, everybody's boarding stuff up. I think we lost power for a couple hours, but I never, in the 7 years I've been there, it's never been like destruction where people were getting killed in typhoons. I never dealt with that. The weather is usually the same all the time. It's all year round. It's like, and it doesn't vary. You know what I mean? It might be 88 degrees a day, 88 degrees and 75 at night. Tomorrow it'll be like 87 and 76 at night. It always changes. So that's the weather is always beautiful.
Right.
Yeah.
So what made you decide to actually have a place in Puerto Plata?
You know what, Barry? This was my thinking all along. And when I was 40 years, I was like, my thinking was I wanted two things when I retired, and the two things I wanted to have everything I owned paid off, and the second thing I wanted to have was basically like a piece of paradise.
Oh, right. Yes.
And that was my main thing because when you retire, if you don't have a plan, you're going to be sitting around in your house on the recliner.
Yeah.
That. So you got to have a plan, and that was particularly my reason for staying in in the Dominican Republic. It wasn't far from home. I got children, I got grandchildren. If anything was ever to happen at home, I would be able to catch a flight and go back home. Not really expensive, not really expensive for $300, $400, $500. All depends on if you get a deal.
Right. So it was closer to home as well. Yeah.
That was my major. And another thing is so I don't know if you guys out there that like the water. They got a lot of water activities there. You know what I mean? And I'm a certified scuba diver, so the diving is beautiful there. They got yachts that you can rent. You can set it up where if you're a group, you can get on a yacht and go out there and have a yacht party 5-6 hours a day, however you want to do it. It's a beautiful place. Yeah.
How do you afford to live to retire, Daddy? How do you afford to retire in a place?
You know what? It's not really expensive living there. It's really nice living there. The essential things like eating every day. My rent's not even high. I think it's like $270 a day for a 2-bedroom.
$270 a month, you mean? $270 a month?
A month. Yeah, excuse me. Yeah, $270 a month. And about like
for a 2-bedroom?
Yeah, 2-bedroom.
That's nice. That's good.
I'm in Puerto Plata. Now, if you was just a super, that might be $600 or $700 a month.
Oh, okay. So it's more in there. Go on. So what about eating out? Is that cheap? Was it like eating out?
So eating out is, they eat, they're eating down there. Their culture is, of course, beans, rice, fish, chicken.
Right.
So, like I'm eating a little different now because I got my own place. So when I go down there, I grocery shop, and I have a friend come over and she usually cooks for me.
Okay.
Yeah, usually when you're going out to eat breakfast, you're going to be paying 200, 250 pesos, which may be about like $5.
Right.
And you're going to eat dinner at night, beans, rice, a chicken, mostly served. If you go wherever you go to eat, you're going to be spending anywhere from 300 to 400 pesos, which is like $10. And that's for a good meal.
Right. So have you traveled to Colombia?
I traveled to Colombia.
Yes.
And I've been to Colombia like I think 5 times.
Cartagena. 5 times? Oh, you've been Cartagena. Yeah. So you've been to Colombia, yeah. So why you didn't retire in Colombia instead of Dominican Republic?
Colombia. I got to be honest and tell people that's out there watching. I met a girl. And,
tell me what happened.
We're here on the fiance visa to America, and she ran off on me. And, thank God I got out of that without having to get caught up. But, I watch this show on TV almost every night called 90-Day Visa. And, the thing about it is, you got to really be careful with that, because, 9 times out of 10, when you marry a woman from another country, she may have motives to get over here, and the main motive, you get her over here. And then once you're over here, then you're done. And if you marry her, and if the marriage doesn't work, then you're responsible. 10 years, you're responsible for her financially.
For 10 years.
Yeah.
So did you ever marry the girl? Did you marry the girl?
I didn't marry. I got out of that. I didn't marry. She ran off on me. Evidently, she must
have
over here. She must have some family members because I think a month into it, I came home from work and she was gone. She just left.
Oh, she just left like that. So you've had okay. Yeah. So you had quite a bad experience in Colombia. Did you? Sorry, say again?
Yeah, I reported immigration, and they kind of told me what I had to do and walked me through it. And then after that, man, they were as soon as they caught up with her, she was going to be getting deported. So I never knew what happened. I don't.
So you cut your tie from it completely. So did you have quite a bad experience then in Colombia? Is that what it was?
You know what? Colombia, and I made friends almost like family there. I still keep in touch with today, but for some reason, probably not. I don't worry about it, but I don't know. I think because of everything that happened, when I go up there, look at my passport, they might pull up something and say, "Oh yeah, you burned." So I just I stay away from over there.
Okay, you just stay away from over there.
hey, now I got a lot of friends that travel over there right today, and they got beautiful
Right.
people, beautiful. It's almost similar to Dominican Republic. Yep.
Oh, it's similar to Dominican Republic.
Similar, yeah. Yep.
So
Their
what's
culture.
your future plans? What's your future plans then? What you got for the future?
Well, you know, Barry, I bought my last year in July, and you know, for those of you out there that's in the same particular, you know, same situation I'm in, retired and looking for somewhere to stay, live out of the country, there's a lot of different ways you can do it. But for me, the way I did it was, even though I didn't have the money to buy a place, I didn't buy it. You know what I mean? I just rented. That way, if something would happen to go sideways for any reason at all I'd have to do was just find somewhere to store my place and just move on. You know, you know, so sometimes, when you come there in the country, anything can happen. I mean, God forbid anything happens, but you could be in a car accident and get sued. You know, anything can happen. That's the way I did. And so it's fully furnished now. I got an apartment that wasn't furnished, so I wanted it the way I wanted it. So I got it.
Do you have friends? Do you have friends down there? Okay. You have friends down there?
Man, Barry, yeah, Barry.
Okay. Do you have friends in Dominican Republic?
Yeah, got a lot of static, Barry.
Are you getting static? Are you all right now?
Yeah. Can you repeat?
Yeah, I was saying, have you got friends in Dominican Republic?
Oh yeah, I got a lot of friends.
Oh, okay.
I got some of my friends in the Dominican Republic are Americans that live there.
Okay.
And I got a young man that's in the university that goes to college. He's about ready to graduate. He's in school for politics, and he's a good, respectable man. So he kind of co-manages my building. He got a key to my apartment. For any reason, if somebody got to get in there, for maintenance work or something I want to get done, he goes in there and takes care of that for me. And of course, I pay him a little bit of money for doing that.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. So you know a few people. So you know a few people down there who go to the clubs and everything.
I know quite a few people.
Good. So what's the future? What's the future plans then for traveling for the next for this year?
Yeah, my future plan. This is my future plan. I'm settled into my place now. So what I want to do is I go down there for longer than a month at a time. So I think when this fall comes, I'm going to actually start living there.
Right.
When it's winter here, I'll be there. And with my 401k that I saved up and the money I got, I think I ought to take one major trip or two major trips a year. And when I mean major, like this year for 35 days, I traveled Southeast Asia. I went to Vietnam and Philippines and places like that. And I have other places I want to go to. I want to go to Europe. I want to come see you.
In UK, I'm in the UK. You're gonna come down and see me. Yeah, we're gonna come. You're gonna come and see me. I'm not gonna take up too much of your time, but MOB, my MOB says again. Shout out to MOB as well. He says, what would you say the difference is between Southeast Asia and Dominican Republic?
Look here, Barry. I want to put it like this: if anybody out there watch Miss USA every year, I watch USA pageant every year. Miss USA. Not Miss USA, Miss Universe. Miss Universe. And if you would look on all the most beautiful final 10 or whoever wins the pageant, they're all from either South America, North America, African continent, or they're either from Southeast Asia somewhere. I mean, you very few from in Europe, in Russia and wherever that is up there, but majority of them that win, this year they, I think last year Miss Philippines, Miss Thailand won, Philippines won, And you know, this year they had the lady from South Africa won. You know what I mean? So hey, all the places we go, man, it's the most beautiful people. Not just women, but the most beautiful people in the world.
Right. So you see similarities in the difference. What do you think the difference is between Dominican Republic and Southeast Asia? What would you say the difference is?
Yeah. Wow. Man, Barry, you kind of breaking up. I didn't understand what you. Exactly.
I was saying that. What do you think the difference is between Southeast Asia and Dominican Republic? What do you think the difference is? How would you find the differences?
Dominican Republic.
That's correct.
Between there and here?
And Southeast Asia.
Where I live at home. Man, the difference is, man, they still have the same culture. Their culture won. But you know, the difference is they have the same things there that we grew up with. You know, when we grew up in down, and they still had this. You know, like now in America, they got Walmart and these giant supermarkets that took away all the middle stores, you know. So down there, they still got the same old stuff we grew up in, you know, cleaning the house, you know, chores that you got to, you know, little jobs, cooking, cleaning, making ways to get through every day. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's the difference. Everything we take for granted, they appreciate there. You know.
Russell, I appreciate you for coming, and I respect that you came. I salute you for coming, and you know, I appreciate your advice. And you know, hopefully you do come to the UK sometime, and we will be talking again. And for all the viewers out there, thanks for tuning in.
I want to say one
MOB.
Man,
go and carry on before you go.
If you're a traveler, this is just a suggestion. And if you plan on wanting to spend any time there, live there, or just travel there frequently, you know, learn the language. You know, learn the language. And you know, it makes a huge difference.
Learn Spanish, you say, yeah? Okay.
Wherever you go, try to learn the. You know, if it's Thai, if it's Philippines, wherever country you go and you frequently there, learn the language. Yeah.
Does it make a big difference? It makes a big difference, does it?
Makes a big difference, man. Communication, it makes a big difference. Because without the communication, man, there's no understanding.
That's correct. There is no understanding. Well, Russell, man, it's very nice to hear from you again. And, you know, I appreciate you coming. And for all the viewers out there, thanks for watching. And we'll do it again some other time. We'll speak again. Salute to you, Russell.
Thanks for having me, Barry. Take care, buddy.
No problem, man. Anytime. We'll speak soon, man.